everyone, it's Susie Kennedy here. Um, got something different for you today. So I want to introduce you to my dear friend and colleague, Al. Al is a musician and a counsellor, and we've known each other for a really long time. And we've come up with some thoughts and ideas that we'd like to share with you today. We've both got different perspectives, of course. I mean, the obvious one being the male and the female, but we've both got an intense desire to share with you, I guess, some inspiration and some uplifting thoughts about how to manage these times. So, welcome, Al.
Thank you. Good to see you again, Susie.
Yeah. Now, what I'd like to do to start with is just throw it to Al straight away to say, what have you found recently has come up, especially since this last full moon that we had?
Well, it's been a doozy, to be honest. Look, I think this year's been a really significant year for all of us. I know a lot of my friends that I talk to, and myself, and it's been a very strong shift, is what it's feeling like, from where things have been and kind of going through motions and then gradual changes. The the weekend, the full moon, it was a roller coaster, to be honest. Like, emotionally, huge roller coaster with other people in how we responded, how we reacted, and it was kind of an interplay between what they were giving and what I was receiving, and then what I was giving and what they were receiving.
Oh,
And to be honest, it felt like there was a real push from universe of, this is the energy, this is an experience of really heavy energy. Yeah, I got to confess, I had some moments where the emotions were just, I had to back away and
yeah.
actually isolate myself over, say, the Sunday. And that's okay, but I guess the challenge is I had no idea what was going on in the moment.
Sure, sure. I look, from my experience, and this again personally, and what I've been seeing collectively with my work, is that we're almost at this point, and I am, where there's been so much resistance in me. And I'm like, whoa, what's this? Things like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. And really noticing that part of me that isn't wanting to comply or isn't wanting to do things the same way, but is maybe a bit afraid of, well, if I don't do this, then what do I do? And I feel personally that a lot of us are going through a shift, as we've said, a huge transformational shift. But it's kind of like, well, what does it look like on the other side? And I feel that, again, what I'm seeing is people are kind of going, I'm done with this aspect of my life. I'm done with this aspect of being, let's say, a people pleaser or someone that just does this because that's what's expected. So because so many of us have done what's expected, I think we're kind of going, well, if I don't do that, that's a bit scary. What does that look like? Will I still be safe? Will I still have income? Will I still be supported? Will I still have friendships? Will people still, you know, follow the lead in the sense of the people that we've had in our lives who have been with us? Will they still be on the same path? And my sense is a lot of people won't be on the same path with us going forward.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Look, I really like the way that you're exploring and being aware of what's going on. And agreed, I think that shifting, like, what I'm hearing is that there's the old that we've been in,
Yeah.
that we've been doing, we've been working, there's security there, like there's a
Yeah.
comfort in there as well, because that's what
Yeah.
we know, the people that
Absolutely.
we've connected with, the connections we've got. I hate to say it, but the conditioning, in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
this is how we should be doing things,
Yes.
how it should
Ah,
be.
that's what it is. It's the conditioning. You're right. Yeah.
And I think that conditioning is a bit of the external noise and also then our inner voice.
Yep.
So combining into, this is how it
Yeah.
should
Yeah.
be, how it's been,
Absolutely.
a bit of a comfort blanket in some
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah. So if you look at the fact that, as we've talked privately, this year we are moving into this age of Aquarius, and it feels brutal this year. It feels like, God, can't be doing this anymore, can't do it the same way, don't want to do it the same way, don't agree with that person, don't like that energy anymore. So it feels brutal in the sense of what we don't want is coming really to the surface. And I believe that the next part is the gentle part that says, oh, well, if that's the case, then what would you like? And is it possible? And as you said, that conditioning that we've all had, which is, go to school, learn a trade or get a job, go and work 9 to 5 or go and be self-employed and work your guts out. There's all this sort of energy that we've been conditioned with. And I believe this is our time of saying, well, actually, what do we want? And I really feel COVID began that process where a lot of us had to do things differently. And it's as though once COVID was gone, we all settled back in and went, oh, life's back to normal, life's back to normal. But then it's like now it's come back with a vengeance. And it's this thing of, well, actually, what does freedom really look like?
Yeah, yeah. And beautiful points. Like I said, the seeing of it so clearly.
Yeah.
And I kind of get the sense that, and I'll speak personally, that I think I can be aware that things may or may not be quite right, but what are the conditions that actually encourage me and motivate me to make change?
Yeah. Okay.
And what I'd look at, like to say on the weekends, was really quite a pivotal one, I think, and the last year's been quite pivotal in getting to that point.
Yeah.
And that heaviness of the energy and the emotional storm was so intense that that's the kind of drive and motivator that I need to actually make that change happen. So I'm speaking to a little bit of hard-headedness, if you wish.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, it's like, how do we break those patterns that we've built up?
Yeah.
And what I'm looking at is that it's like, universe, thank you so much for that experience, as difficult as it was in that moment.
Yeah.
To really go, actually, this is really quite difficult. This is quite heavy. It might be what I'm used to.
Yeah.
But you're giving me real insight into the importance of why change is so worthwhile. To get, as you pointed out, to that gentleness, to that beautiful space of, okay, well, what could be different? How could I do things a little bit differently? I know that's not what I want. So it's like that catalyst is not easy. And I think we need to be really generous with ourselves and others in those moments, that it's not easy, but it has such a beautiful service.
Absolutely. And just some things that were popping into my mind when you were speaking, Al. I have a friend that just recently lost a puppy who was only 4 years old, and other people that have lost jobs unexpectedly, and people having and other losses that were painful, unexpected. And I believe that, we're always looking for what's why did that happen? And oftentimes change does get thrust upon us. And I believe that if we can, and this is me as well, if it's learning how to navigate life, not so much as questioning why did it happen, but what is the gift? What is the opportunity? What is the change that I can embrace? And I feel now if we can start to embrace the fluidity of life, knowing that every one of us is going to die, hopefully, some of us will not suffer major illnesses, but some of us will. It's kind of being able to embrace the fluidity and being able to say everything is changeable from moment to moment. And I believe it's us recognizing ourselves as the creator of maybe not what's happened, because some things we don't have control over, but we always have control over how we respond. And I think when you're down in the dumps, sometimes it's like you think you're the only one going through it. And that's why our conversations have been so supportive and uplifting. And again, another reason why we want to share these conversations with you here is because sometimes we just feel like we're alone and we don't know what to do.
Yeah, well said. And such a strong point. The thing of maybe part of what we're all going through, so many of us going through, is that we can learn how to be there for others. And I'll just link these two thoughts, like how to support others and how to reach out for support. Because these kind of
Yeah.
moments when things are all shifting, and I agree with that thing that change is something that will happen. But I love that thought that when we reach out to others, when we talk to them, it's like, oh, thank you. You know, I'm not alone. Other people have got similar challenges, and
Yeah.
you know, how do we support each other together? Maybe that's the point.
Yeah. Yeah. And it'd be interesting to hear people's comments on that,
Mm,
because I'm a big one for not going into the victim energy. You know, I think it's easy for people to go into poor me,
yeah.
but it's more, I think by sharing genuinely from our hearts with the idea or the intention that other people know they're not alone. It's a bit like, oh, I've experienced this. Um,
Yeah.
but this is what I'm learning from it. So I think it's actually that second part of this is what I'm finding. Like as we spoke about just before we came on to do the recording, I've been experiencing intense resistance within me.
Mm,
And I feel like a little girl that says, I don't wanna, I don't wanna, I don't wanna. I feel like just throwing myself on the floor and having a little tantrum. And then I'm going, whoa, there's resistance there, which before just felt like something uncomfortable. I couldn't really pinpoint what it was. But
mm,
as soon as I kind of sat with it a bit more and was noticing it, I went, oh, that's what it is. There's resistance. So then the next part of that is, what am I resisting?
mm,
And once you get that, what are you resisting? Then the choice becomes, well, do it differently.
mm.
Yeah. You don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. It's like do things differently. Yeah.
So it kind of sounds like a bit of a process of honoring that, okay, I feel
Yeah.
like having a bit of a tantrum, not a problem. But
Yeah.
it sounds a bit like building the self-awareness of really tapping into and asking the question of, okay, what is this? Like, it's there. Let's
Yeah.
not pretend it's not there. Like, and I must admit, and I'll speak from maybe bloke's mind a bit more, that
Yeah.
the tendency to try and push away. So no, I'm not a little girl having a tantrum, shall we say?
Yeah. Okay.
Um, as
I'm
opposed,
really interested in that male perspective, Al, because a lot of us women, we find it really easy to talk about our feelings. We find it easy to share. We find it easy to connect. But I do know for a lot of the work that I do with men that I'm interested to hear your thoughts on, if some of the people that are listening have got husbands, sons, or if you're a man listening, what hints or tips could you give to someone that's going through these kind of huge inner conflicts? What would you say?
sure. I think the first part is about, I keep coming back to generosity to ourselves. You know, being
Yeah,
generous that,
I love that phrase.
oh, so do I. I use it too often. I shouldn't say that. But look, I do think, coming back to that conditioning, I think that a lot of males, and this is not everyone, but
Yeah, yeah.
typically it's like
Majority. Yeah,
we kind of are expected to fix things, to be
yeah,
on top of it, and not to allow, the inner conflict or the turmoil to impact us.
yeah,
Now, whether that's because we're trying to have a brave face for other people, or whether it's because we don't know, we don't have access to the tools because we're not expected to have the tools of reaching out to others and talking
yeah.
and sharing things. So you kind of go, well, oh, okay, well, my mates aren't sharing, so what would you?
Yeah.
Again, at that kind of conditioning.
Yes. Yeah.
And look, that's okay. I don't think we should condemn ourselves for it, but I think we could
Mm.
look at going, well, is that a healthiest way to live?
Yeah.
That's the question. So
Yeah.
then we can start maybe paying attention to what happens if I share something with someone.
Yeah.
You know, maybe.
And is it a safe space? Because when you were saying that, what jumped into my mind is that so many women want to fix, that they want to fix everything. And I know what you said. I mean, men are more designed to fix, like that is in their mindset too. But I feel the changes that have happened over the last maybe 50, 100 years with emancipation of women, it's almost this thing where women have taken it upon themselves to be the fixers for all of the problems in their families, with their friends. I know I've been guilty of that. I had a friend say it to me once recently, and I kind of was taken aback a bit. And I went, oh my God, yeah, I've got to learn how to be a friend and not be the healer all the time or the guide. So it's this fine line, I think, with the changes in the roles of gender that have really, I know we're getting onto a kind of a different topic, but it's different, but it's not. It's the world that we're living in. And I guess one thing I'm hearing from you is that if other guys aren't sharing, can you be the one that's confident enough to share without being worried that you're going to be held down, you know?
Or even testing, finding out
Yeah.
what happens. And I'll link it back to that point you made, a slight divergence of topic, but it is central to everything we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's about gradually, if each of us can start becoming a little bit more aware of what's going on for us, not from a scope of like trying to push it away or cover it or try to be different, actually honestly just going, oh, that's what I feel.
Yeah.
I feel sad or happy or whatever it is, but
Yeah.
maybe the paying attention to the inner experience
Yeah.
is such an important starting point. And I think sometimes, I know I do this, is that sometimes I can repress the feeling. It's like, no, I'm not feeling it. Nope, not happening. And I would, the challenge with that, I think, is that it doesn't stop the feeling from being there.
Yeah.
Change
it doesn't.
emotion. It's there.
Yeah.
But what we're doing is just covering it and going, no, it's not true. So we're kind of, I don't know, ghosting ourselves, or I don't know quite what the word is, but it's like we're creating.
We're denying ourselves. We're creating extra internal pressure, and that then means we're not being authentic. And it's hard because we have to show up in a world where we've all got jobs or roles, and we all want to appear at our best. And so it's like this, I always say it's like this record that's going on underneath. And I believe that as spiritually aware people, microphone, our spiritually, our spiritual work is to have those moments at least daily of reflection and even just identifying what is this? Like when I identified resistance, because I thought I was just feeling flat. I thought I was just feeling low energy or whatever, or tired. Actually, I was feeling tired. And then I went, well, if it's not tired, what is it? And I just heard this voice. It's like resistance. And as soon as I said that, I went, oh, and I know what I'm resisting. I'm resisting a world that could be different. I'm resisting a world where I have full autonomy, where I can choose how I work, where I can choose where I live and what I do. Because I feel like we're all on the cusp of massive, massive change.
Yep, agreed. And it's a beautiful time to experience it. But again, challenging to have
challenging, hugely challenging, hugely challenging.
And the listening, sorry, I really liked your point earlier about making better decisions for moving forward.
Yeah.
And again, I think it's like, how do we make better decisions if we're not aware of the factors?
Yeah.
It's almost like making a decision based on one point it may not lead to the best decision.
Yeah.
And this is about opening up that thing of how do we feel about our work? And yes, it is scary, because what happens if we actually find it challenging? What is it? How do we feel about certain relationships? Again, challenging, because what if? But to have choice in going, okay, well, how can I make a difference in my situation?
Yeah.
We do need to have a bit more understanding of, well, what is my situation? How do I feel about it? How do I sit with it?
I totally agree with that. And what keeps jumping in is, do we really know what we want? So it's a period, I believe, of discernment, like just really observing every day what we're doing and how we're doing it, and looking at the motivation behind the way that we have existed and shown up in the world. Like if we've been hard workers, well, why are we a hard worker? If we've lived in a certain place, well, why are we there? And if we do things a certain way, is it because we want to do it, or is it because that is what we think others expect. So I think we're really going into this spiraling inward to really understand our own inner motivations. And in that, kind of working out, is this the real authentic me? And is there a different way I'd like to show up? And if I wasn't chasing this, could I have more time to explore this? Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting. A lot of male friends at the moment and clients I work with,
Yeah.
you know, I hear a lot of, oh, my work's this and it's not, you know,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, and that's true, fair enough. But I wonder, like, where's the joy in life?
Yeah. Where's the joy? Where's the joy? Bring back the joy. That's
Yeah.
why I'm throwing a tantrum, because I want to be that little girl that I never got the opportunity to be. And I think, look, I'd say to everyone, and thanks, Al, I kind of feel we might wrap it up here. But my sense is that today's message is about just understanding that if you've been feeling this intensity of this current time, and it's been this way all this year, it's just to sit with it and know that you're not alone. So many people are going through life-changing things, illnesses, loss, distractions, things changing unexpectedly. And it's a collective thing that we're going through. But I believe now, Al, you're the musician, so I want to give you the last word. So you know a lot about harmony, you know a lot about harmonizing. And if people are finding this energy of inner conflict, from a musical point of view, what could you offer to people that might help them to find that place of inner serenity again?
As a piece of music, or I can play with how I work with harmony.
Yeah. Yeah.
The true beauty of that beautiful final chord of a piece of music, you only achieve that by the tension leading up to it and the flow. And
Yeah.
and look again, similarly, like it's in listening to each of the individual notes and going, oh, hang on, where is that?
Yeah.
How do I shift? There it is. Like shifting that little note that's just creating that tension
Yeah.
till it sits nice and like that beautiful final chord or
Yeah.
you know, moving chord or whatever it is. So
Wow.
it's actually very similar to our discussion today. It's about paying attention, listening, and looking for those little things. How can I try something a little different?
I tweak it. How can I tweak it?
It's not about revolution. It's about what
Yeah.
can I tweak to improve?
Yeah. Beautiful. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening. Love to hear your comments, and I dare say you'll hear more from us.
Yep.
Bye for now.